After a 2-week hiatus due to illness, it's time to strap on the boots once more. So here goes. Hype, hype, hype. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not actually opposed to hype in general. Hype is a very good tool for both publishers and developers, because it's how their work gets shown to the world. I see the use in creating excitement for a game about to be released, because I do believe that does improve our enjoyment of the game. After all, Christmas wouldn't be so wonderful if we didn't go around all year anticipating it, would it? And without hyping games, they will get nowhere near the number of sales on release that they do, and it's a well-known concept in the gaming industry that the sales on or near release are the most critical. It doesn't really help if a game becomes really popular years after release, as has been demonstrated by the spectacular game Psychonauts, which no publisher would ever touch with a 10-foot barge pole, even though it has been lauded as one of the finest games ever made in later years. Most recently, news and some screenshots of Fallout 4 have been released, and speaking as one of the biggest, fattest, most giddy fans of Fallout 3 and New Vegas in the history of the world, I'm hyped as all fuck. They don't even have to release much, just enough to give us gamers a feel of that there's something tangible going on with the game, and it makes us feel involved and welcome, something that goes a long way towards building a solid relationship between developers and gamers. That is something that the developers will be cashing in on later when the game is released and they get showered with money. It is also a check that we gamers get to be redeemed with enjoyment upon release. Hold your horses there though. I said with enjoyment. When you, that is the developer, sign that check, you better damn well have coverage for it when the time comes. This is where many developers fall flat on their asses and or faces. Oh, so you've managed to hype all the features of the game to high heavens. Well, you better fucking well deliver then. For example, in the case of Aliens: Colonial Marines, they hyped the game beyond reason with some truly stunning supposed, air quotes, gameplay demos, including features that really would have made for an interesting gaming experience. The problem is, that shit didn't materialize. It was smoke and mirrors. None of those amazing features ever made it into the finished product. This should be freaking marketing 101. Only market stuff you actually do have. But I suppose in today's market of pre-orders being the norm for selling copies of a game, it's more important to sell on the potential of a game rather than the actual substance of it. When the public discovered that all the hype was bullshit, it was too late. The money had been made. Then came the lawsuits over the supposed fraudulent practices of the publishers, and you know who benefited? Absolutely no one. While I do feel a certain spring of sweet schadenfreude over the publishers being rightfully bashed, it doesn't bode well for the future of gaming as a whole. It's depressing. I want hype to pay off. Back when I bought the first Mass Effect, I had tremendous expectations. I had played and greatly enjoyed Knights of the Old Republic, the Star Wars role-playing game made by the same developer, BioWare. And it felt like Mass Effect could deliver on an as good and possibly even better gaming and storytelling experience. That expectation made the experience even sweeter when the game turned out to be absolutely amazing. Not only did the experience validate the hype heightened the enjoyment. The exact same thing happened with Fallout 3. The developers had been open about what the game was going to be, and that made the expectations realistic. Then, when the game came out, all that longing and hope was validated. Heck, even Hideo I Am Insane Kojima has learned to do this with the extremely short Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. If Hideo, 25 minutes between pressing start and actually getting to control your character, Kojima can learn this shit, you don't have an excuse anymore. And yes, I'm looking at you, Peter, breaking down and crying in an interview about your game, Molyneux. You prick. In short, something you long for will always be better for the longing, as long as the thing you long for lives up to the expectations. This is something developers need to be careful about, and the more honest and realistic they are with the material they present to the players, the greater the effects will be on release, and gaming as a whole will ultimately be better off for it. Good night, good folks.